welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be starting yet another reading vlog, obviously. And today we are actually joined by a special guest because Winnie's here, just lurking as she tends to do. Oh, she loves a tassel. I know I'm just gonna push her back over here. I know I constantly complain about Winnie stealing my tassels and ruining them basically, even though I do frequently use them to provoke her. It's just too fun not to, honestly, but what can you do? Anyway, I don't really think I have anything else to say in the intro. Shall we talk about the books that I'm planning to read? I think so, because I do have two books that I'm hoping to read in this vlog, both of which I'm very excited about, so let's chat about them. The first one that I have here is In the Weeds by B.K. Borison. This is the second book in the Lovelight Farms companion romance series situation, and me, Cass Mackenzie, are buddy reading this book this week, so I have to have it done by the end of this week. And for once, I'm not going to dip out on my buddy reads that I have with my friends, because I am bad. I'm so bad at doing like normal buddy reads. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna read it in a timely manner. It's gonna be great. But I'm very excited about this one because it does follow, as companion series tend to do, us characters that we were introduced to in the first book. I'm really excited about the romance that's gonna be in this one because that was also kind of introed in the first book, and I'm excited to see what this book does with it. So I will be reading this one, little contemporary romance to kick off my February reading. Yeah, this will be the first one, so very fun, very fun. And then the second book that I have here is a kind of YA fantasy story, and that is Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Poranek. This is inspired by Polish folklore, I believe, and it definitely has Howl's Moving Castle vibes to it, which you guys already know I love. I did read 50 pages of this book last year. It's kind of softy enough'd it, but it's time to get back to it, and I'm very excited about it. So these are kind of, you know, my two reading plans for the next couple of days. Should be pretty chill. I don't really have like a ton of plans for this reading vlog, but I'm just hoping to do some good reading. Hoping to have some cozy days. It should, I think it's supposed to be pretty gloomy over the next couple of days, which you guys already know I'm so excited about. I feel like I talk about the weather in like every single vlog. I'm so sorry, but like my mood is at its peak when it's gloomy outside. I hate the sun, like it's so gross. But if I can have a rainy, gloomy day, then I'm having the best day. So I'm very excited about that. It should set the perfect cozy atmosphere for my reading. So those are my reading plans. I am also planning to finish up my puzzle at some point in time over the next couple of days as well. I'm still working on my Winter Brambley Hedge puzzle, and I've made some good progress with it. So I'm hoping to maybe do the rest of it today. It's certainly an option, but I do need an audiobook to listen to while I do that, and I don't know what that's gonna be. I could like get one of these on audio, but I kind of want to physically read these. I don't know what my plan is for that. I am also currently listening to the audiobook for Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. I don't know if I'm gonna listen to any more of it this week though. I feel like I'm at a place in that book where I don't know if it's like the worst thing I've ever read or if I'm having a great time. And I need to chew on that for a little bit. So I probably won't read any of that today. I might find something else. I don't know, we're just gonna have to see what I'm feeling at that point in time. So those are kind of my general plans for this video. I'm very excited to get into it, have a couple of very chill days of reading. And I think that's everything that I have to share with you guys in this intro. So I'm gonna get into it by starting In the Weeds, and then I will get back to you guys once I have finished. Also, look at this cute bookmark that I have that I'm gonna be using with this book. Isn't that adorable? I'm obsessed. It's also gingham printed on the back. It just whacked myself in the face with it, but I'm just so excited about this bookmark book combo. Anyway, you guys don't care. Let's get into some reading. is a lot later. It is currently 5 p.m. and I've been doing some stuff today. I finished up my puzzle, which was very fun. Had a good time doing that. It is so cute, as always. And I will have to buy the spring one sometime soon. I know spring isn't that soon, but I gotta have my puzzle ready to go. And that'll be the last Brambley Hedge puzzle, like seasonal puzzle, that I'll get to do. Very sad, honestly. Anyway, I also did do a little bit of shopping earlier because I went to Target and I saw that they had their Valentine's Day stuff out. And I love Valentine's Day things, you know? Give me all of the heart-shaped things, I'm all for it. And they also had their seasonal Haribo out. I love seasonal Haribo. You guys already know because I talk about it every single holiday that it happens to come up. But I did get some seasonal Haribo. Got some Valentine's Day Haribo. First of all, we have the classic, just regular gummy bears. There's literally nothing Valentine's Day-ish about it, aside from the fact that the bears are pink and white. Like, the only two flavors that are in here are pineapple and raspberry, but those are the god tier flavors of gummy bears. That is not an opinion, actually. That is a fact right there. But I will be snacking on these later in the month. But I did get another kind, and they're okay. They're these berry hearts. I know, like, I ate most of the bag, so you're probably like, wasn't it a little bit more than okay? I don't know. There are 3 flavors in here, though, and you'll see that the only ones left— oh my god, there's a purple one left. I was about to say the only ones left are blue ones because they suck, but there's a purple one left. Scrumptious. The blue ones are not good. The purple ones, though, were delicious, so I don't think I'd recommend, honestly. And the last thing that I got while I was there were these really cute heart-shaped sprinkles. I couldn't not get them. They were so cute, and I do already have some baking in mind that I would like to do these with. It's nothing fancy, but probably do that like later this month. Hopefully. That's kind of everything I've been up to. Aside from the reading that I've done today, I have read a lot of this book so far. I'm on page 206, so I'm like halfway-ish through the book, and I am liking so many things about this book. Aside from the most important thing in a romance book, and that's the romance. I do not care about Evelyn and Beckett's romance in the slightest, honestly. But I love them as characters, like individually, watching their like character growth over the course of this book and kind of seeing how they're feeling about their current jobs and maybe things they could potentially want to do more and kind of seeing them come to those realizations. I like a lot. But their romance, I just cannot like get into. But let me tell you a little bit more about like the actual setup for this book. So basically, I think this happened before the events of even the first book in this series. Beckett and Evelyn have this one-night stand at this agricultural convention that they both happen to be at, and he's like a farmer on Lovelight Farms. Like, he handles the agricultural stuff at Lovelight Farms, but she's a social media influencer, and I don't remember why she was at this agricultural convention. But it sounds so random. I'm sure there was a good reason for her to be there, but I cannot— maybe she just happened to be there at the same time. I don't know, honestly. But they had like a one-night stand while they were there. It was like the most mind-blowing thing they've ever experienced, blah blah. And then like they don't see each other for a long time. Until she shows up in the first book on Lovelight Farms, where he happens to work. They see each other, they're like, oh shit, it's really awkward, whatever. They have just like awkward times from there on out. And to some extent I like that, but to another extent, I don't enjoy when romance books start out with our characters having a one-night stand, because I feel like from then on, the basis of their relationship is a little bit more lusty than I would want it to be right off the bat, you know? Like, as we get further into the book, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm all for that. But for it to be like from the jump, they're just always thinking about that one night they had together. I want something a little bit more meaningful, I suppose, for their relationship to be based off of. I just feel like the entire first 150 pages of the book, especially in Beckett's point of view, he's just like, I remember the way her legs were like wrapped around my waist, and like just talking about it all the time. I'm like, dude, talk to her, make new memories with her, ask her about things, like stop, like it was just getting on my nerves. I was like, why don't we relationship build instead of just like always thinking about this one night and, you know, miscommunicating all the time, honestly. Which I feel like this book also suffers from a lot of miscommunication because they're both— oh my god, they're both so clearly into each other. And if they would have one civil conversation instead of like assuming things about the other, none of this would be an issue. And I think sometimes miscommunication can be done well, and it's okay. I feel like especially in the first book with Stella and Luca, they kind of had a miscommunication-esque situation going on because they had been best friends for years, but obviously they slowly fell in love, and if they would have had a conversation about their feelings, whatever. But like, for some reason, I liked it in the first book. I thought it worked well. But in this one, I truly just feel like a single conversation would solve all of their issues. And they're not having it. There have been some cute moments in this book. I just am not really loving their relationship. But there are so many other things in this book that I do really love. Like, obviously, Stella and Luca are kind of there in the background, and I still love them so much. Like, the first book was so good. So, like, seeing them, you know, show up every now and then is really fun. I also really like a lot of the side characters that are present in this series, because it takes place in this small town called Inglewild, I believe, and there are some characters in this town, let me tell you. They have like this gossip phone tree, which is really funny. There are some characters that are like obviously recurring from the first book who were great then, and they're still great. There are also some romances being set up in the background that I do believe are going to be featured, like the focal point of a book later in the series. And I just love the close-knit, everybody knows everything about everybody kind of vibe this town has going on, because it's so fun. And it's just such a great dynamic. There's so many great characters. And I really like Beckett and Evelyn as individual characters. I do really enjoy them, but I just don't care about their romance at all. But their individual kind of journeys that they're going on, I do like. More so Evelyn's, because we've been doing a little bit more with Evelyn's story, but I do like Beckett's story kind of going on in the background. But with Evelyn, she is a, you know, like social media influencer, and she has been for a very long time, and she's starting to feel kind of burnt out. She's kind of starting to think maybe she wants to do like something a little bit different. She wants to pivot, and she also finally decided to take a break. She's been like, you know, posting on social media every 4 hours for the last however many years, and she's finally taking a break, which good for her. And kind of just seeing her fall into this small town life, making friends with a lot of people in this town, has been delightful, honestly. And there are definitely some opportunities that are being set up for her that are still within like her wheelhouse, but it's just like a little bit different and probably won't be quite as draining for her. So like, I like all of that going on. And then with Beckett, I don't exactly know what's gonna go on with him, because he has these aspirations, these childhood aspirations of being an astronaut or something. Like, I wouldn't say never, but I don't exactly know how he's planning to achieve that, but we've mentioned it a lot, you know? Like, he really likes looking up at the stars. He wanted to be an astronaut when he was 6, so like, I don't know, maybe he's just gonna go get an engineering degree. I'm not sure, but, you know, some personal growth going on for him, I suppose. What I really like about Beckett is that he keeps finding all of these animals to take in. In the first book, he found all of these kittens, which are still present in this book, and they're just constantly being like casually brought up. They're like everywhere in his house. He has like 4 cats in his little cottage that he's living in, which I think is great. And then at the beginning of this book, he found a duck, which he's also taking in. I was like, I mean, good for him. I wouldn't know the first thing about domesticating a duck, but sure. I love his like Snow White vibe. Somebody said that in the book. I thought it was so funny. His Snow White vibe he's got going on. So I like that. And I like them as individual characters, but the romance just, it does nothing for me. My thoughts and feelings could certainly change as we get further into the book. I must say, I do think this is better than Insta Love. Probably, yeah. But it's just not my favorite. And it makes me sad because I love Love Light Farm so much. So it's like, oh, finally some contemporary romances that I can get into. And then this one was like, actually, no. But I will definitely still be reading the 3rd and 4th books in this series. Very excited to see who they're going to be centering on. I'm pretty sure the other like person that works at Love Light Farms, Layla? I think that's her name. I think she's maybe the focal point of the next book, which I'm very excited for, because like that relationship has been set up. And even from seeing them in the background of one scene, I'm like, I need to see more. Like, I need to see more of that, you know? But this one so far just isn't doing it for me. But I'm going to probably be finishing this book up tonight. I feel like that's definitely doable. And I will hopefully come back with better thoughts on it. I do have class tomorrow morning, so that'll be so fun. But I will see you after class with hopefully my concluding thoughts on this book. Alright, so it is now Wednesday morning. If you notice the mess behind me, please casually don't, okay? This is the aftermath, like, every single time I journal. Anything that I don't want in shot just gets, like, shoved over here, and by the end it's just a mess, so casually don't look at it. I know I could have cleaned it up before this, but alas, I did not. Anyway. It's Wednesday morning, yes. I ended up not going to class this morning because the roads are pretty icy, so I had more time this morning than I thought I was going to, which has been nice, honestly. Nice slow start to my Wednesday. And I feel like I've been utilizing it well because I did, you know, some bookshelf maintenance type things. I did some reading. I definitely made some progress in Where the Dark Stands Still. I also did some journaling, which I've been wanting to do. I finally updated a couple of my spreads that, like, you know, need constant updating. And then I also decided to finally do my New Year's spread, which I was initially gonna do, you know, on the first day of the year. It's like January 1st, I'm gonna do it. Didn't end up doing it. I was like, okay, I'll do it the next day. Didn't do it the next day either. Flash forward a month, still haven't done it. And honestly, I wouldn't have gone back to do it, but I left a page in the very beginning of this journal, specifically so I could do a New Year's spread. So I decided, nah, I'll just do it after the fact. It'll be fine. And I'm happy with how it turned out. But we have more pressing things to talk about, honestly, because I have finished a book and I've started a book. One of them is going very well. The other one is not. So let's have a little bit of a chat, okay? Because I finished up In the Weeds last night, and I don't want to say it's one of the worst romance books I've ever read, because, like, it really wasn't that bad. But, like, in terms, like, the writing's fine, the setting's fine, like, everything's fine, except for the romance. Like, why was the romance just so not good? It makes me so upset, honestly. Because how do you go from writing Love Light Farms to writing this miscommunication mess, honestly? I feel like that's mean, and, like, normally I try not to be, like, super mean. But this was just a book that was chocked full of situations that could be avoided and people making assumptions that could also easily be avoided, and it was making me so upset towards the end of the book. Because the third act conflict, I was like, this is the third act conflict? Are you kidding me? Like, it was the most avoidable third act conflict I think I've ever read about in a book, a romance book specifically, obviously. And the whole time it was happening, I was like, really? It upset me. It genuinely upset me. And I'm so sorry. If you like this book, I'm so sorry. But I just really hated the romance. Like, I guess, okay, maybe hated isn't even the right word. I just deeply, so deeply, did not care about it in the slightest, and the two of them are getting on my nerves. Everything I said about the book, like the good parts of the book, still stands because, you know, I love the town it's set in. I love the side characters. I love the characters, even the main characters individually. But like this romance, you know, the thing is though, I'm still gonna read Mixed Signals. Is that the next one? It's either Mixed Signals or Business Casual, but I want to read, I think it's Layla. I think she's like the focal point, like her romance is in the next one. And it sounds really cute. And I am very excited to get into that one because I know I don't dislike this series, I just dislike this specific romance. Yeah, there's my review of In the Weeds. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I honestly can't believe I'm starting February, the month of love, the month of romance, off with a romance book that I didn't like. We're just gonna hope that things get better from here, honestly. Anyway, let me move on to more positive things. Gotta get things back on track here. Because I have started Where the Dark Stands Still, well, restarted it, I suppose. And I'm currently on page 66, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm having a wonderful time with it so far, which is needed. And I feel like a gloomy morning is the best time to read this book. Like, if you're not gonna read this book on like a dark, rainy day, kind of feels wrong, you know? Because this book definitely has a kind of darker, like foresty vibe to it, which I absolutely love so far. But let me tell you what this is about. That might be kind of helpful. So in this book, we are following our main character, Liska, and she has this magic that she's trying to keep secret. Nobody aside from, I think, the people in her family knows that she has this power, but she doesn't really have a lot of control over this power because nobody's really taught her how to use it properly. Up until this point, it's only really come out of her when she is experiencing some strong emotions, and recently there have been a couple of incidents that haven't exactly gone well, so she's obviously starting to view this power as a curse. So she's kind of scrambling to figure out a way to get rid of it so she stops, you know, being able to potentially hurt the ones that she loves. So enter in this like dark, creepy forest thing that she ends up going into right at the beginning of this book because she is in pursuit of this magical fern flower that will grant somebody a wish if they find it. So obviously she's looking for this flower so she can hopefully wish away her magic, but this forest that she ends up going into is actually the home of the, like, demon in the wood? Or is that I think that's a Leigh Bardugo short story, like that phrase. But it's a demon that lives in the woods, okay? So she ends up running into him, which is obviously not a great thing, but they end up striking this bargain where if she is basically his servant for a year, he will then grant her wish of getting rid of her magic. Enter kind of the rest of this book where we see her moving into his very decrepit manor that he lives in, which I love so much, honestly. I love the descriptions of this place. The manor very much seems like sentient in its own way, and I love a sentient abode, shall we say. It's always just so fun, especially when it's not exactly sinister. I'd say it has more of a whimsical vibe to it, which I absolutely love. Like when she first got there, she was noticing there was a lot of dust everywhere, and she like touched the dust at one point, and the dust started like following her basically in a very like, you know, whimsical kind of way. I was like, this is so like Studio Ghibli vibes right there. I just loved that so much. I was imagining the soot sprites. I was like, it's so good already. But so far we've kind of just been following her as she is settling into life in this manor. She's, you know, cleaning things up. She's cooking. But also at the same time, you can tell that the demon in the, or the demon, why do I keep calling him that? The demon, Leshy, I think is how you pronounce his name. He's trying to coax magic out of her and like make her use it in a more controlled way. So I feel like over the course of the book, we're probably gonna see Liska learn to control her power and embrace it and use it for good, or I don't know, something to that effect. I would imagine she's probably not gonna get rid of her powers, but I'm really excited to see the journey that she goes on with her magic and like learning to control it and use it in ways that she wants to. I'm just having a great time with this book so far. I'm having a better time than I was with it the first time. I feel like it's a good thing that I kind of softy DNF'd it and got back to it, but it definitely has that like whimsical Howl's Moving Castle, Ghibli in general kind of vibe to it, which I absolutely love. So I'm definitely going to be reading a lot of this today, and I'm very excited to kind of get into it. I also believe there is a little bit of a romance in this book as well, which I'm also excited to get to. So yeah, I'm just loving a lot of things about this book. I'm also really loving the I think it's Polish folklore that's being brought into this. There are a lot of nods to it. There are a lot of stories from Polish folklore that are like kind of being told to you through our characters, which I enjoy a lot. And I'm just really loving this book so far. So this is exactly what I needed to turn the vlog around. So I'm gonna do just a lot of reading today, hopefully. And I'll be having the best time. It's like, truly, it's just the perfect weather for reading. So I'm gonna go and I will get back to you tomorrow, maybe? We'll see, we'll see. All right, hello. It's currently Thursday morning. I am just here with a quick update on Where the Dark Stands Still because I am about halfway through this now and I wanted to give you an update before I was just like, oh yeah, by the way, I finished it. So yes, we'll talk about that. I also, very exciting gaming news for you. I did finally start Stardew Valley. So many of you guys have recommended Stardew to me, especially after I spent so much of last autumn talking about, Animal Crossing. Maybe too much time, honestly. So I've been wanting to start Stardew and me and Mackenzie decided to start it together last night. We're doing like a co-op farm situation, which I'm very excited about. We didn't play for too long, but I did a little bit of exploring and I just love the look of the game, honestly. It's so simplistic, but it's still so aesthetically pleasing and also very nostalgic. Like, I just love the look of the game. Especially, I wandered down to the, like the wizard's tower, whatever, and I want to know more about this wizard so badly. Like, the tower itself is so just like cute and like, I just love it. I want to know more. I want to go in. I want to see it. We didn't get very far in it. Literally all we've done is, you know, plant some crops, but I wanted to give you guys an update because some of you guys have recommended it to me and I'm enjoying it so far and I'm really excited to like get more into it, you know, because currently I suck at it. Like, not suck at it, but I do not know the controls. I keep like trying to throw things away on accident. It's not good. So that's been very fun so far and I'm excited to explore some more, shall we say. But should we talk about Where the Dark Stands Still? I think so. I'm continuing to really enjoy this book and I'm so happy about that because In the Weeds let me down so much that I needed a good book after it. And this book is definitely delivering. I absolutely, first of all, I love the writing so much. As I've read more and more of the book, I'm just really appreciating the writing style because it's not like super flowery, but it definitely is very lyrical and it has a very whimsical quality to it as well, which obviously I'm all for. But it still maintains a very dark and ominous tone to it, which the mix of like that with the whimsy is everything that I love because I love whimsical things, but I also love slightly spooky things. And just getting even more descriptions of the manor and the grounds that it's on and the magic that's at play, I just really have been loving so much. I'm also still really enjoying all of the Polish folkloric elements that are being brought into this because we've kind of been introduced to a lot of the more like antagonistic creatures that are in this world. I mean, I know, you know, the Leshy is literally a demon, but he doesn't really read as much of an antagonist. There are worse things out there, you know? So there are these, oh my god, my pronunciation is not gonna be good. But there's like Strigon. That's not how you pronounce it, I'm so sorry. But they're like reanimated corpses that are definitely causing some ruckus in some nearby villages. So there's been, you know, a little bit of action going on as the Leshy and Liska kind of get pulled into this whole situation that's at play. I think there's kind of a larger scale thing going on in the background that we don't really know much about yet, but I'm excited to kind of see more of that as the book goes on. And there are also these, I don't know if they're siren-like women in this book as well, which have been interesting. I think they're near bodies of water and they're evil. So like, I don't know if they're sirens or not, but I've just really enjoyed kind of the threat that they pose and seeing how our characters are dealing with it. Also, less on the kind of antagonistic side, there are house spirits, which I think I mentioned in the last, did I mention that in the last update? I don't know, but there are house spirits and there's one that is like in the manor and it takes the form, well, I think it can take the form of anything it wants to, but it's currently kind of taking the form of a cat and it kind of is following Liska around and helping her discover things about the mansion and Leshy. I've also just really enjoyed watching the dynamic between Liska and the Leshy kind of develop over the course of this book because obviously in the beginning it's a little bit contentious, you know? I mean, she's quite literally bargaining away a year of her life and spending it in servitude, which obviously would not make for the best of living circumstances. But watching their dynamic go from, you know, him being really exasperated with her all the time and her just not really doing anything that he tells her to them becoming more of acquaintances, I suppose. Like, as the book has progressed, he's been helping her a lot with her magic. They've had like some training sequences so she can like fight off the reanimated corpse guys, whatever. So overall, I'm having a really great time with this book, and again, I'm so happy that I decided to pick it up and give it another chance because it's just such a solid YA fantasy. Like, it definitely feels very YA fantasy, but in the best possible way, and it's like everything I love about YA fantasy, you know? So it's going well. Definitely will be finishing this book up today, and I'm very excited about that. And then I think maybe potentially once I finish Where the Dark Stands Still, I might read another book in this video as well, because I really just want to read another good book in this vlog. And I feel like Exit Strategy by Martha Wells is definitely going to be that good book. So I'm thinking I might read this today as well. It's also so short. I feel like that's definitely doable. Another little novella, why not? So here are my reading plans for the rest of the day. I don't really have any other major plans for today. I do, however, think I might watch another Ghibli movie because it's been a while since I watched a new one, and I'm still on my mission to watch just about every Ghibli movie. And I put a hold on one from the library a couple days ago, and I think it's available. So I might go pick that up and watch that this afternoon. Be a nice little break from my day of reading that I'm planning on having. So those are kind of my plans for today. That's it. That's all I have to say. So I'm gonna get into reading the rest of Where the Dark Stands Still, and I will see you later at some point in time. So it is a lot later, but I'm here to end off the video because I have done everything that I wanted to do today. I feel like I've done a lot today, but many things to talk about. Let's do it. So first of all, I did finish up Where the Dark Stands Still. Really, really loved this book. I think I might have loved the first part of it a little bit more than the second part. I honestly like the cozier moments of this book a little bit more than the plot forward moments, I suppose. But overall, I still really, really love this book. But I feel like this book shines, for me personally, in those quieter, more domestic moments that you kind of got in the beginning of this book, of Liska just walking around the manor and seeing these casual displays of magic everywhere and all that kind of stuff. I really, really loved it. But I also did really enjoy the plot as well. There were also some plot twists in this book that I did not see coming whatsoever. I was jaw open, not on the floor, it wasn't that bad, but I was still a little bit shocked by some of the things that were going down in this book, but it was juicy, honestly, and I feel like it made a lot of our characters' motivations make a lot more sense, so I really, really loved that. I also really enjoyed the ending of this book. At first, when I was reading the last 20 pages or so, I was like, oh my god, what is going on? But I actually feel like this ending makes a lot of sense for the story, and it's kind of a beautiful ending in its own way, I suppose. And I really loved the epilogue as well. It was just such a lovely read, honestly. I really, really enjoyed this. I think if you are in the market for a YA fantasy with great writing, solid atmosphere, if you want a book that's very much like Howl's Moving Castle without being too much like Howl's Moving Castle, you should really pick this book up, because I really loved it. So I was just a really big fan of this, and it's my favorite book of the vlog, obviously. So very, very happy about that. And then also I finished an entire other book since I last talked to you, because I did finish up, we'll start and finish up, Exit Strategy this evening. And I finally figured out what the deal with Murderbot is, because I was reading the like front flap of this earlier, and it says it's the 4th and final part of the Murderbot Diaries, but I was like, I know there are like 3 other books out. So in case you want to know, books 1 through 4 are like the novella length books, and the first 4 kind of have an overarching plot that does wrap up at the end of this book. And then the other books in the series, I think they're all full length, maybe? I could be wrong about that. But I know one of them takes place between the 3rd and the 4th books. One of them, actually I don't know about the rest of them, but the others are, you know, just like not a part of like an arc necessarily. They're more one-offs, I suppose is what I'm thinking. And I'm really excited about that. I will definitely be picking up Network Effect, I think is the 5th book, and it's like one of the longer length ones. So I'm very interested to see how I feel about Murderbot in a full-length novel. I feel like I'm really gonna enjoy it. Let's talk about the book that I actually read in this video. So I really, really loved Exit Strategy. I was a little bit dubious about the series after reading Rogue Protocol, but I feel like Exit Strategy really just brought it back for me. It was just everything that I loved about the first 2 books, but so much better, because there were some characters that you're introduced to earlier in the series that play large parts in this book, and I really enjoyed Murderbot's dynamic with them and being able to see it again and kind of seeing it develop a little bit more. I feel like the entirety of this book specifically, but like the entirety of the series in general, is just Murderbot constantly, vehemently telling you that it doesn't care about these humans. But then every single book is it going out of its way to protect these humans, and this book is no different, especially in this one because it has a more personal, like deeper connection with the characters in this book, I suppose. So I really love seeing Murderbot kind of revisit those feelings and kind of think about the deeper connection that it has formed with these humans and kind of, you know, ponder on that a little bit, which I loved. I feel like overall, like the plot of this series isn't like the most gripping thing about this series for me. I like the plot. I think it's interesting, and kind of seeing how it developed over the course of these 4 books and how it concluded in this one I found satisfying. But like I don't care that much about the plot, I'm being honest. I just love Murderbot as a character so much that I would probably read about anything that it's doing. Its dry humor and its constant sarcasm is just so entertaining. It's also just so relatable, honestly, because literally all the time, it's just like, I don't want to be here. I want to go watch my shows. I've had enough of like interacting with people, but it's just so funny in its delivery, and I had a really great time reading the first 4. So I feel like I'm probably gonna have a really good time reading the other 3 in the series as well. I don't know how many are supposed to be in the series overall. I don't think it's like finished yet. I think maybe it's slotted to have like an 8th and a 9th book potentially. Also, going back to talking about kind of the first 4 books as a whole for a second here, I really enjoyed Murderbot's like personal journey that it was going on in all of these books, because it was really trying to find what it wants to do with its life, basically. Which again is just incredibly relatable. And the whole 4 books, it's kind of just, you know, trying out different things, seeing if this is what it wants to do. It's like, oh, maybe I'm gonna go do this, and then, oh, maybe I'm gonna try this out a little bit, which I enjoyed. And I like that at the end of this like 4 book, at least the arc that it goes on, what am I trying to say? I don't know. It still doesn't exactly know what it wants to do. Even though it's a cyborg robot, whatever you want to call it, it's such a good representation of the human experience in a way, and I really enjoyed watching that be explored through a sci-fi robot kind of lens, you know? Also, one more thing I need to say. I want to see more interactions between Murderbot and children. There was one at the end of this book that I just thought was so funny, and I want more. I don't know if that's ever gonna happen again, but I enjoyed it and I was highly entertained by it. So yes, if you guys are looking for like a short sci-fi series to check out, I would really recommend Murderbot. As somebody who does not read a lot of sci-fi, literally the only sci-fi that I've truly picked up is the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson and Red Rising. But like, that's it. So like, I'm not a very experienced sci-fi reader, you know, but I love this. I had a really good time with this, and I feel like even if you don't love sci-fi, you would probably still really enjoy just like the character exploration that is going on in this book series overall. So there we go. I am kind of sad that I finished like, you know, the complete arc now though, but I cannot wait to get into the rest of the books. I need to buy a copy of Network Effect soon. It'll actually probably be the first book that I buy in 2025 because I want you guys to be really proud of me. It's currently the 6th of February. Haven't bought a single book in 2025. I don't even know who I am at this point. Anyway, other things that I've done today. Actually, let me show you this first because I started a little scarf. I feel like I've made so many crochet scarves at this point, but I wanted to try like a scrappy looking, very colorful situation. I don't know why I thought this was gonna be a good idea because I have so many ends to weave in. Please pray for me. Because I already started doing it and I already hate weaving in the ends, but I just feel like it'll be cute when it's done, you know? Here's a little sneak peek. Yes, yes. I decided to do this while I watched my Ghibli movie because I decided to watch From Up on Poppy Hill. It was interesting. I don't know how I feel about it because I didn't dislike it, but there were some interesting plot points at play, that's for sure. And the ending felt so abrupt. Like, I was watching, I was like casually sitting there crocheting, and then the end credits started to roll. I was like, huh? What happened? Like, I don't fully understand the point of this movie, I suppose. Basically, it's like very slice of life type of vibe. So like, maybe it doesn't have to have like a super strong point, I get that. But it's kind of, you know, our main character thinking about her father that passed away during the Korean War, I think. And, you know, at the end of the movie, she like finds out some more things about him and maybe it's giving her closure in a way, which like, that's all well and good. But the ending was just so abrupt. I was like, okay. All right, sure. I don't know how to feel about it. I really enjoyed, like, you know, visually, obviously, Ghibli movies are stunning and I love them. But like, plot line wise, I feel like it just didn't really do a whole lot for me. But I'd love to know what your guys' favorite Ghibli movies are. Preferably one I haven't seen. Obviously, you probably don't know all the ones that I've seen. I've seen like the popular ones, you know. I think my favorite one that I've seen recently so far has been Whisper of the Heart. That has definitely like shot its way to the top of my favorite Ghibli movies. That one was so good. I should watch The Cat Returns. I know it's not like, you know, same vibes, but it's kind of connected in some way, I think. So I need to watch that one soon. But I'd love to know what your favorite Ghibli movie is. Please do let me know down below. I think that's everything. I just, you know, wrapped up the 2 really good books that I read in this video. And then I also read In the Weeds. I'm still so sad about this book. Me, Cass, Mackenzie did have a FaceTime chat about it earlier, and they haven't finished it yet because I'm a Bad Buddy reader and I decided to go ahead and finish it before them, guys. I'm sorry. But I think Cass was halfway through. Mackenzie was like 2 chapters in. But, you know, we were all kind of feeling the same way about the romance. I'm interested to see what they think about it once they finish the book, because a lot of my problems from the romance, while they do start in the beginning of the book, they also stem from the stupid 3rd act conflict. Don't get me started. Anyway, that is the end of the vlog. I would obviously love to know down below, have you guys read any of the books that I read in this vlog? What did you think of them? Or if you have not read any of the books that I read in this vlog, just let me know what you've been reading recently or what you've been up to, anything. I would love to chat with you guys down in the comments. Also, before we go, I would like to thank everybody over on my Patreon. If you're ever looking for more content from me, that is always linked down below. We do some fun stuff over there. And with that, I'm gonna let you guys go. So thank you again so much for watching. I hope you're all having an amazing Monday or whatever day it is that you are watching this video, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!